Rising tensions in the Middle East and heightened threats against Israel this week from Iran and the United States. The Biden administration warned Israel it would impose an arms embargo against the country if it does not improve the humanitarian crisis in Gaza within 30 days. And an Iranian general warns the Islamic Republic will obliterate all Zionists with a severe counterstrike if the IDF retaliates against Iran's missile attack against Israel. Well, here to share his thoughts is Middle East Forum founder and historian Dr. Daniel Pipes. He's author of the book, Israel Victory, How Zionists Win Acceptance and Palestinians Get Liberated. Dr. Pipes, it's good to talk with you. So first, what do you make of this 30-day Gaza humanitarian deadline imposed on Israel by the Biden administration?
Well, conveniently, the deadline ends after the election, and I think that's the key. The Biden administration is in a quandary. On the one hand, the president does truly care for Israel, is a long-term advocate of Israeli security. On the other hand, his successor as candidate for president of the United States faces a vehemently anti-Zionist component, and especially in a key state like Michigan. So he and his administration are having to modulate their support for Israel, having to show they're tough on Israel, and hoping to win back some of those alienated voters in Michigan. So on the one hand, there's the Middle East, there's Iran, there's nuclear weapons. On the other hand, there's Michigan and disaffected Democratic voters. And they don't mix. And that leads to this incoherent policy that we now have.
Well, and then we have the deputy commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard threatening to obliterate all Zionists if Israel launches a retaliatory strike against the country. So what are Iran's capabilities, in your opinion?
The Iranian capabilities have been, for the last 45 years, basically non-conventional. That is to say, not tanks and ships and planes, but sabotage, murder, and potentially nuclear weapons. So Iran is basically weak, short of a nuclear weapon. It's weak, but we don't know where it stands vis-a-vis nuclear weapons. We thought we knew with North Korea where it stood, and we were wrong, U.S. intelligence. And we don't really know where Iran is. So let's hope that they don't have nuclear weapons. Let's hope that the Israelis take out their nuclear infrastructure, at least some portion of it. That is the single most important event that is in prospect now. Not knocking out military installations, not knocking out energy installations, not knocking out politicians, but knocking out some, anyway, of the nuclear infrastructure.
Well, they've reportedly already picked their targets, so do you think they'll hit oil fields and nuclear development facilities, or what should be the target beyond the nuclear facilities for a retaliatory strike?
Well, it appears, according to reporting, that the U.S. government has said to Israel, don't hit the energy, don't hit the politicians, don't hit the nuclear infrastructure. Yes, you may hit the military. Which would be good, but not all that important. I think it's one of those key moments when the Israelis do not follow American wishes, I hope, and instead go after the nuclear infrastructure. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, that changes so much in the Middle East and around the world, so much.
Well, we've already seen 181 rockets fired against ballistic missiles, I might add, against Israel recently. What if one of those had a nuclear weapon on them? I mean, here you've got this deputy leader of the Revolutionary Guard saying, we're going to obliterate all Zionists. I mean, how would he be able to do that without one?
Right. And it has to be remembered that unlike North Korea or Communist China or Soviet Union and the others, the Iranian leadership has an apocalyptic edge to it, the sense that the end of the world is nigh, and that end of the world might come sooner if there is a worldwide conflagration. And what better way to set off such a conflagration than with nuclear weapons? So,
well, you've written this book, Israel's Victory. So how does Israel obtain victory in this war against Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran? And how is acceptance achieved, on the battlefield or diplomatically?
Well, the book itself is about just the Palestinians, not Hezbollah and not Iran. I distinguish between the Palestinians on the one hand and Iran and its allies, such as Hezbollah and the Houthis on the other hand. Iran and its allies are a military threat, primarily, whereas the Palestinians are primarily a political threat. The Palestinians delegitimize Israel. The Palestinians have a worldwide support network, say, on American campuses, that is intoxically hating Israel. And my book focuses on the latter of these two subjects. I think Israel has always been very competent in dealing with foreign states. It has been much less competent in dealing with its near neighbors in the West Bank and Gaza. And I'm advocating that instead of conciliating those West Bankers and Gazans, as has been the case for over a century, the Israelis take a tougher stance. I worry that the Israelis have moved on, have not finished what they need to do in Gaza, have not set up an administration, have not found Gazans who can work with them, have not fixed Gaza. And I worry that Gaza is going to go back to the same kind of hostile entity on Israel's doorstep that it was, or that it still is, and the Israelis are not achieving the victory they need in Gaza.
Okay, some advice for Israel. The book is Israel
Indeed.
Victory: How Zionists Win Acceptance and Palestinians Get Liberated. Dr. Daniel Pipes, thank you for sharing your time and insights with us. We appreciate you.
Thanks for the invitation.